I will call to order the October 13th meeting of the Village of Wesley Chapel Council. If you'll rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and pray with me. Lord God, we just thank you for this day, Lord, and we thank you for all that you are to us. We thank you for this village of Wesley Chapel, and we pray that the discussions and the actions and the words and the thoughts that we have tonight, that all of those are done in a way that would honor you. We pray in your holy name. Amen.
All right. So that leads us to our first order of business, public comments. The first resident on the list is Mr. Jim Hill. If you will come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Jim Hill. I live at 2314 Wesley Landing Road in Wesley Chapel, and I'm the president of the Courtyards of Wesley Chapel Homeowners Association, which is why I'm here. Tonight, there's on your agenda tonight, there's a proposed ordinance to establish a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit in our subdivision. It's taken us 4 years, but we finally, on September 30th, North Carolina Department of Transportation added all of our roads to the state maintenance system. So they're now public roads, and so we would like to establish a speed limit that's consistent with our neighboring subdivision of Champion Forest and probably many other subdivisions in Wesley Chapel. There's only one, as you know, there's only one way in and out of our subdivision, so cut-through traffic isn't really an issue, and our residents being 55 and older generally abide with the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit. The only issue that we have is with delivery vehicles, Amazon, FedEx, UPS, and those drivers seem to regularly exceed the speed limit going through our neighborhood. So if you approve the ordinance, we can post the 25 mile per hour speed limit signs on all of our streets, and we can also ask the Union County Sheriff for help in enforcing the speed limit. So we would appreciate your support in passing the ordinance tonight.
One follow-up question: if the roads become city roads, are you putting up the speed limit signs? Or
well, what happens? So the NCDOT it will put up one sign right at the entrance. That's you'll see if you go into Champion Forest to see what it looks like. So it says subdivision speed limit 25 on all roads. So they'll put up one sign, and then if we want to, like Champion Forest did, we can put up signs within our roads as well. And they're not that expensive, $25-30 for a sign. So if our residents, we'll start with the one that at the entrance and see how that does, and then if the residents want more signs, we'll pay for them.
Thanks for clarifying that.
All right. The next name on the list is Jonathan Ayla. If you'll come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Ayla. I live at 4899 Winding Lane. It's at the Village of Wesley Chapel. I'm here to ask the council to reconsider their vote last month on the asking FEMA for just an update of the dam through the congressman. Now, sitting here, we understand the altruistic nature of why the council denied that request last month. Understand the concern that still is going on in the western half of our state, But my understanding, from my own research, is that disaster preparedness is different than disaster recovery. They're two different entities within FEMA. Right? They both go up to the FEMA director, but they're two different things. Funding is different, everything else like that. I also understand that this request is not that timely given the fact that the government shut down and nothing's happening. But when I go to the park, I see a breach dam. I see a big hole. I see a playground up the hill. I see dogs. I see people still trying to go down there and fish. I see a lot of people wanting to use that area. And my biggest concern is when I look out there, and my kids are a little bit older now, so I'm not that concerned, but my biggest fear is those gates are constantly being cut down, are constantly being broken down, and it's not going to take very long for a 5 or a 3 or a 4-year-old who's there for a birthday party to go running and fall into a dam hole. DH him, Holt, no. So that's just my concern is when I sit there and I look at the fact that we're not doing events at the park anymore because you can't park and get there easily. That the handicapped individuals or the individuals who can't walk the actual nature trails can only do basically one hook and come back instead of walk around the entire park. And the safety aspects of it is very concerning to me. And I understand that, asking FEMA isn't asking them to approve it, just asking, where are you guys at? You've been doing this for 2.5 years, almost 3 years now. We just need an update on, is this going to be decided in the next 5 years, or do we need to just go ahead and pay for it ourselves in the next 5 years? So, with all of that said, I would like council to just reconsider asking FEMA where they're at. Understanding that it should not impact what they're doing in Western North Carolina. And it also benefits our citizens for their safety and for the usability of their park.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
The next name on the list is Joel Down. If you'll approach the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Joel Down. I live at 408 Conaway Court, and I'm here not representing the Events and Programs Committee, although I am the chair. That is for later, obviously. Over the past 2 months, I have spoken during public comment and urged the council to request that our congressman write a letter of support for the village to FEMA for the village to receive the applied funds for the grant for the dam at Dogwood Park. This is a service that the congressman's office does for free and can save the village residents hundreds of thousands of dollars. After my public comment last month, there was discussion about my proposal, and I would like to clarify some points that were made last month and also by Mr. Aliff. First, the pot of money that is being provided to Western North Carolina is a separate pot of money than the grant money that the village is applying for. And then secondly, I understand that we should care about Western North Carolina, but I believe that it's the job of us as citizens, not necessarily the village and this council's duties. Your job is to worry about what is best for the village, and what seems to be best for the village is that we get this FEMA grant of approximately $500,000, so us as the taxpayers do not have to use those funds out of our own pockets that are already given to the federal government. Therefore, I'm requesting that Ms. Bledsoe and Mr. Cobo add to the agenda this evening a reconsideration of the vote from last month, and then have a revote and make an motion to request that the congressman write a letter to FEMA. Thank you.
All right. That is all for public comments. So that leads us to the additions, deletions, and adoption of agenda.
I will request, at the residents' request, that we add to the agenda a revote on the proposal to contact our state representative.
So there were two different proposals. One was just to ask FEMA for an update, and one was to request Representative Harris's thing, which is the revote. So which one are you adding to the agenda?
Both.
I'm just going to say discussion
Okay, general discussion.
of senator requests or representative requests to 8C. All right, any other additions, deletions?
Is it 8C?
Yes, ma'am. If there are no further changes, I ask for a motion to approve tonight's agenda as amended.
Second motion.
Is there a second? All in favor? Unanimous? All right, and then that leads us to the consent agenda, which has approval of the minutes and adoption of the speed limit ordinance for courtyards at Wesley Chapel. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second, but I do have a question.
Sure.
So am I correct in assuming that there's no cost for the village incurred with this? I mean, the DOT is going to put up the one sign and then the community will fund the other signs?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous? That leads us to the finance officer report. I'll turn it over to Ms. Bailey.
Thank you. So I just want to thank council for their patience as we've been through a lot in the last few months, and we are continuing to go through it. I had hoped tonight to have full reports for you. With that, there's an unaudited balance sheet that you can look at. Just a reminder that really doesn't become effective until after the audit, which we'll get back. It has to be filed with LGC December 31st. So it'll be a while before it's finalized, but I think the unaudited version is probably pretty close. Just a reminder that when you look at the fund balance on there, the unassigned fund balance will be lower because, changes have happened since the end of June. And the fact that we said we were going to retain, kind of earmark in there $500,000, $250 for the dam, $250 for road improvements, and that 25% of the budget. So that's about $750,000. So about half of that unassigned fund balance is kind of already tagged, if you will. So just kind of keep that in mind. We should have the FY24 income. I'd hoped to have had them today, but I still had questions on them. And we've been concentrating on that versus the others. There were a number of reclassifications that had to happen because things went into the wrong budget categories, and so they had to get realigned. And then there were some transition errors as well with the new software, and some of it is you just work through it, you just find others. So it's taken longer than we had hoped because I had requested to have them all tonight through August, with recognizing that September will probably close within the next week. We are onboarding a new consultant from CLA, Harold Vandeveer. The 20th, next Monday, will be his first day truly on the job. He's already been here for a little bit of training. The current CLA consultant is a project person, so was here as a catch-up bookkeeper. And as this has now become more ongoing work, Harold's more an ongoing work person, so they're making a change in resources for us. And so I don't expect any big, hiccups or anything because we got the audit prep, which is the next item. We've gotten all those documents together, ready for the auditor, and it is what it is, but I think that we have gone above board in getting additional information for her to be able to do the audit. So feeling good about the audit prep. Any questions about the status or the audit prep?
Yeah, a couple. One, thank you for untangling the mess that you were given. Are we to the point now where we're not finding any more latent errors, or are we still finding stuff here and there that were...
You'll see as we finish the finance agenda.
Okay, good enough. I'll take that as an answer.
Any others? Would like to ask council to approve a budget amendment so that we can balance the FY24-25 budget. So per North Carolina statute, we have to balance at the departmental level. The individual items underneath can be plus or minus. That's irrelevant. It's at the departmental level. That's what is in our budget ordinance. So during the transition last year, we approved $300,000 for an interlocal agreement regarding Newtown Road and Cuthbertson Road improvements. And the approved moving that money into assigned fund balance. So what we need to do now, because we did approve it and everything was done, except when we did the transition, the funds that were moved in QuickBooks to cover that went into the Parks and Rec department incorrectly. So we need to move that out of Parks and Rec so that then the administrative budget will balance. So that's kind of a housekeeping item. So I'd appreciate a motion to be able to do that.
So motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
The next is we have to approve a stormwater analysis expenditure for FY25-26. This was approved in May of 2024, signed interlocal agreement, and council approved the expenditure. However, it did not make it into the 25-26 budget because the event we thought would happen the last fiscal year, and it didn't. And so this was actually 2 fiscal years ago. So Now I need a motion to approve the expenditure for the stormwater analysis into the FY 25-26 budget.
So motion.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, one question, is there, from an accounting perspective, do you call it the same thing when it carries over from one fiscal year to another, or is it all still?
Things don't carry over like you think they might. So anything that's not spent in a fiscal year goes into the fund balance. And so if you had an item in the budget, like stormwater, for example, last fiscal year, and you didn't do it, unless you put it in the new budget, it's not there. And so we've already approved it now, so this is kind of
But it goes back into the general budget.
Yeah, so this is kind of a housekeeping item, it's something we've already approved to get it into this budget so that we can pay the bill.
Okay, thank you for
So, yeah.
clarifying that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further questions? All in favor? Unanimous?
Was that the first one?
And stormwater.
Yeah, and now we need to move $10,000 from the assigned fund balance to the planning development contributions, because contributions is the object that we use when we're contributing to an interlocal agreement, because we're not making a direct payment for the work. Similarly, like if we have an interlocal agreement regarding road improvements, it'll be a contribution to an interlocal agreement. But if we pay them directly for something, then that goes into a different bucket. It's fun. So I would like a motion to move $10,000 from the assigned fund balance to the appropriate account and object for the stormwater analysis.
What would be the appropriate line?
It says 533
It's
Five,
it's the
six.
planning development contributions.
Okay.
Oh, it's not on there.
No, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
5610 Planning and Development Object Code 533 Contributions for Stormwater Analysis. This interlocal agreement.
So motion.
Second.
Any further questions? All in favor? Unanimous?
Now, the last one is because of learning. Earlier this calendar year, council had approved a healthcare stipend for full-time employees. And we thought we could use the health insurance budget, just like we were doing when we were actually providing insurance. However, within the software, that triggers coding so that shows up on the W-2 that they received employer health care, which is not what we're providing. We're just providing a stipend. So not to mess up their ability to get any other insurance or subsidies or anything else. So we just need to move the funds that we budgeted in the healthcare insurance area to special compensation, both within the administrative department. Did that make sense?
I think it does. But would there be anything else that would fall into, what was the account that we're moving it into? Special
Compensation.
Special compensation, holiday bonuses potentially.
Okay.
Sorry, what was that?
Holiday bonuses. That's one we haven't crossed yet. We're kind of learning as we go.
Yeah. I don't have any problems with that. So we approve the budget amendment
For the healthcare
for the
stuff.
healthcare school. Yeah. Our stipend.
All right. So I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further questions? All in favor? All right. Anything else, Ms. Bailey?
No, not unless there's any other questions. If I get those financial reports and I no longer have questions about them, I'll email those to y'all. I won't make you wait till the next meeting.
When we do have the audit, will that be something that you're directly involved with?
I expect to be.
Okay.
Well, let's put it this way. I would hope I don't have to be. I would hope that everything is right there and she's so familiar with us that she just looks at it and goes, yep, we're good, and I just have to review the draft.
I'm just,
That would be my dream.
in a perfect world, I'm sure that would be the case. I just
But
remember
otherwise,
previous audits where there was always a question here, a question there, and I know that just being there
Yeah.
sometimes is hard, but you have to be there to.
Well, and
answer questions.
some of it's not actually in person. A lot of it is by email and everything else. But I'm hoping that, we've done a really good job getting the package together for them, and it'll be minimal. It'll be more of the review of the document going out
So when the actual audit is done, the first point of contact will be you or
Yeah.
Amy?
It should be me.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay, any further questions for Ms. Bailey? All right. So that turns over to me. I need to give an update and ask for council's assistance with the stormwater detention pond behind Village Hall. Kind of go back and do the history again. We received an initial, Aston presented us with an initial letter agreement dated May the 12th, 2025, for the shared stormwater detention costs that are on village land. We decided that we were not in the stormwater business, so their approximate cost for our share was $395,533.40 for what they're doing for us to get us ready for stormwater back there. So in accordance with the state statutes governing the private negotiation and sale of property by the village, we did advertise the offer for upset bids, and no upset bids were received. So I am asking council tonight, so that ended earlier last month, that no upset bids were received. So I am asking for a motion to approve a resolution that the village council approves the agreement with Aston as set forth in the letter agreement dated May 12, 2025, and authorizes the mayor to sign all documents and complete all actions in order to complete the transfer of the property to Aston, including without limitation the following: sign a plat subdividing the property to be conveyed and record that plat. Prepare, execute, and record restrictive covenants on the parcel once subdivided in accordance with the terms of the agreement with Aston that it can only be stormwater. And 3, prepare and execute the deed transferring the property to Aston.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes, will a survey be required?
Yes, they were supposed to send somebody out. I don't think they have. But yes, a survey will be required to subdivide it.
Okay. And that cost is incurred by Aston? Perfect.
Yeah. Any further questions? All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous? All right. That brings us to the code enforcement report. You have that in your packet. We do have an issue. You scroll down to the right. We do have a property that is ready for some cleaning up. Alliance Code Enforcement states that they have not received any contact from the homeowner, and so council needs to motion to move forward with cleaning up the property. I'm still scrolling over here. John's stuff's in here too. It is. Sorry. I want to give you the property ID here. The property ID, apparently I can't find it, is the Southern Lindsay property. The owner has been non-responsive and has not reached out to Alliance. So I need some direction. Do we clean it up? That's what we decided we were going to do. They've already been accruing fines. They were supposed to have a meeting with Alliance, right, Amy? And that never happened. No one showed up for their hearings. So we need to move forward.
We're certain that the homeowner has received the notifications or the letters.
I'm pretty sure he's been told. But he has not reached out to Alliance Code Enforcement. So how would you like me to proceed?
At the last meeting, there was a motion made and approved to proceed with a work order to clean up any properties identified by Alliance Code Enforcement, and after the cleanup to put a lien against the property. That's what we voted on last month. So do we need to have another vote?
Well, that's up to council as we know who that homeowner is. Do we want to reach out to them? Or are we just going to move forward with cleaning it up?
We follow the procedure. We don't make exceptions.
Okay.
Agreed.
So per our policy, that we approved last month, I will proceed with finding somebody to clean up the property and put a lien on it.
There's no extenuating circumstances, I don't think, on this that would cause us to not follow that policy.
Not that I'm aware of. All right. So any further questions about the code enforcement report? All right. So that leads us to Dogwood Park. So Mr. Lepke, if you will come to the podium, please, sir.
If council has no objection, I'd like to start with 8B and then go to 8A. Is that okay?
Sure.
So as you know, you approved us going out soliciting bids for pond cleaning. There is a general statute that requires above a certain threshold you do a sealed bid process. We didn't know what the bids were going to be, so we didn't know if we were going to be above that threshold and therefore mandate sealed bid. So I did a sealed bid process anyway. After we received some bids, so people submitted the bids, Amy held them all unopened, and then we announced an opening time and place, and we did that the following Monday. After a discussion with George on Friday, George said we can only consider the information in conforming bids that conform with the instructions of the RFP. So on Friday, after the discussion with George, I sent you a spreadsheet with 5 bids in. The bids were opened in the order in which they were received, and so you have bids 1 through 5, the lowest bid being number 5. So my ask is that you approve bidder number 5, which has the lowest per cubic yard rate of all the bidders. And if you approve that bidder, I'd like you to approve the mayor to sign a letter of intent to the contractor, which George has reviewed, and then also approve Amanda, the mayor, to sign a contract once we've reached mutually agreeable terms between the contractor and the village, and George has reviewed it. Give Amanda the okay to go ahead and sign that contract, not to exceed $233,000, and that is $230,000 left of the grant money, which we budgeted for this project, and $3,000 interest earned thereon. So approve Amanda not to sign a contract not to exceed $233,000, sign a letter of intent, and select a low bid contractor. So that's the ask, and I believe a representative of the contractor is here, should council have any questions for him.
I just have a question. The difference in the prices or bids are very significant. No.
There are from $2.5 million all the way down, so.
And
They all had the same scope of work, they all had the same set of engineering drawings. I know some that didn't bid were looking at hydraulic dredging instead of mechanical dredging, so I don't know if some of these people have considered hydraulic dredging instead of mechanical. I know one potential bidder visited the park, only had the ability to do hydraulic dredging, and he came back and he said there is absolutely no way I can do this for anywhere near the budget, so he chose not to submit a bid. So I don't know the basis of their pricing. All I know is they all had exactly the same scope of work, the same request for proposal, the same engineering drawings, and we got a wide range of pricing. I'm recommending that if contractor number 5 can do it for the price bid, that's who we should go with.
Questions for Mr. Lupke?
Any input from George? Any issues?
No.
Okay.
I share the same concern. If, in my business, if I receive a bid for $200,000 and the next closest bid is $500,000 more, and that's the second bid, and then it ranges from that point all the way up to
2.5 million.
2.5 million, I've really got to question the low bid. Because
Well, not included on the sheet are the non-conforming bids that were more in line with the low bid. But we can't consider those because they were non-conforming.
okay, has that subcontractor seen the site?
Yes,
Okay,
contractor number 5 visited the site, I walked the site with him, has all the engineering drawings, asked some questions about the order of work, and submitted his bid accordingly.
John, one thing I want to clarify is the Parks Committee will stay open while this work's being done.
Yeah, we will probably have to close the service road,
Okay.
so from the dam down to the gate.
I'm just worried about safety of park
There's
visitors,
going to be trucks going back and forth.
and that section will be closed off.
Yes.
Thanks for clarifying that.
So kind of to your point, and just looking at the very high levels and the number of days to start and the greater number of days to finish, I also wonder if sometimes contractors give outrageous bids because they really don't want the work.
Good point.
sure.
Why would you go through all that effort? to
I don't know.
submit a bid if you don't,
I don't
if you
know.
don't want the work, you just
They're
don't submit
crazy.
a bid.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just
I've
so
had
significantly
several
different.
contractors on the invitation list did. There were about 15 invited, and obviously close to 10 decided we don't want to bid, and they didn't submit it
Yeah.
because they didn't want the work.
So John, can you explain what protects us if it ends up being more than this contractor estimates?
Well, we will have a contract that says they will do the work as in the scope of work and on the engineering drawings, or the amount specified. And then there is going to be a bid bond required. It was suggested, I think you suggested 110% to account for inflation. So there's going to be a bid bond in place should the work not get completed.
John, would a bid bond be appropriate or a payment and performance bond?
Performance bond.
P&B bond?
Performance bond is what I mean.
Okay. I'm sure you vetted this, but trucking, does this subcontractor supply his own trucking, or is he subcontracting the trucking?
Probably a question for the contractor. I don't know the basis of how they put together the bid, what they were subbing out to the haulers. I don't know the details of what I've got is what's in front of you. What I did do, I checked the references. So each bidder was asked to provide 3 references. I called all the references for the low bidder. The references were all very good. And in addition, just to make sure that the references were legit, I did a reverse lookup and verified that the number given matched the name given, so that there were not games being played with references.
Is the subcontractor local?
Yeah, I believe they are.
And then last question, the settlement that's mucked out, where does it go?
Sorry?
The settlement that's mucked out, where does it
So,
go?
on the bid form, the potential contractor had to identify the dump site for all the sediment, and the responsibility for obtaining the necessary permits for the dump site is on the contractor.
Okay.
So we're responsible for all the permitting related to the park location, and once it leaves the gate, it becomes the contractor's responsibility to make sure that the dump location has appropriate permitting.
And costs for dumping, all of that would be included with in the total turnkey amount.
Yeah. So the other thing I did, I looked at the total turnkey bid versus the budget. It's slightly less than our budget, so I calculated the maximum amount of muck we can remove from the pond without exceeding budget, because the 4,700 cubic yard estimate is based on some assumptions that the depth of the mud is uniform across the pond. That may or may not be the case. So, if we get the 4,700 cubic yards hauled away and we've still not finished, we can go all the way to 5,041 cubic yards before we burn through the 233 budget. Now, if in some places it's less than the estimated volume, we're going to have money left that we might have to give back to the state. So instead of doing that, I talked to our engineer Amy, if we get to the end of the pond cleaning and we've only moved 4,000 cubic yards, we've got enough money left in the budget to move another 1,000 cubic yards. We can take dirt from the dam, which will save us down the road from having to remove that dirt when we fix the dam. So we won't be giving back to the state. And I gave you some numbers. So for example, if we were 20% off, if the actual volume to be moved was 20% less than the 4,700 cubic yards, we'd be giving $46,000 back to the state, which I don't think we want to do. So instead of giving it back to the state, we'll use any underage to remove dirt from the existing breach dam, widen the breach, and get that dirt hauled away, because that'll save us money when we come to fix it up.
So, a consideration is when we did the budget, we put in the amount that we had left less the engineering costs that we'd already had. We've had some engineering costs this fiscal year, a few $1,000s, not much. And it was an estimate. I estimated the interest, expecting interest rates would be going down this fiscal year, which is, what is happening. And so that $3,000 is purely an estimate.
Okay.
Right? And so the thing to consider is the longer it takes us to use that money, the more interest we earn. So there is a little bit of play in that.
So the contractor is suggesting it will be 60 days before they start working.
Yeah.
In the contract, we'll probably have to work out a payment schedule, so it'll be pay as you go.
Right.
They do the mobilization, the construction road, the silt fencing, probably have to make a payment. Then they do a week of hauling.
That'll be in the contract, right?
Yeah, but that's also be worked out. Well, basically, we'll be paying as we go towards the end.
Yeah, well, it just needs to be worked out in the contract, so I know how we have to budget, make for the payments and everything else. But I'm just saying, so if we're going to start sooner, then that's probably a good estimate. And if it was going to be starting in April, it might be a little more interest earned. But
We
just
can't start in April.
Oh, I know. I'm just explaining the calculation that was used for the budget.
The second to the last column I provided you was likely when we'll finish, because we've got to be sensitive to the deadline where we have to give the money back to the state. And the money has to be spent, invoiced, and paid by that deadline. So with 60 days to start and 60 days to finish, we're good on the June deadline to give the money back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't want to go out right up to that either.
We don't want to rope on that deadline.
No.
So 3S, approve the contractor, approve Amanda to sign a letter of intent if you approve the contractor, and approve Amanda to sign the contract after George has reviewed, after we develop the contract between the village and the contractor, and it's been reviewed by George.
I've had all my questions answered.
All right, so is there a motion for John's first request to approve the lowest bidder?
Yeah, Richard, so we're
Candidate
saying
number
now
5.
Barbie Lawn and Landscaping is the contractor you're approving.
So motion.
Second.
Any further questions? All in favor? John's second asked for me to sign the letter of intent.
So motion.
Any further questions? All in favor?
Well, it's reviewed it, if you can, do you have it ready there? You can sign it, I can hand it to the contractor who's here. And then the third request is, once we've nailed down the terms of the contract, mutually agreeable between the contractor and the village, as reviewed by George, give Amanda the okay to sign it in case that happens before the next council meeting.
So motion.
Second.
Question, does the LOI stipulate that performance bond is required?
The RFP stipulated that performance bond was required.
Okay.
And it does say in the letter of intent, the contract is to be consistent with the RFP and the engineering drawings.
There's never discrepancies in construction documents, so you know that.
Yeah. Right.
So, if there's any further questions?
Can you get a copy of that?
So there's a motion and a second.
Then you,
All in favor?
Not with her signature.
Unanimous? All right.
right,
Next, Mr.
back to
Litzko.
A. So General Devon Park, we are making awesome progress with the mini golf. We've got all the edging in, we've got all the gravel down. We are getting through laying the artificial turf. I think we've got 2 rolls left to cut into big pieces and then just a few pieces to trim. Then it's just putting the holes in, putting the flags in. So it's getting very exciting, it's looking awesome. The biggest question people have when they walk by is, how much are you going to charge for us to play? I was like, ooh. So obviously it's free, but if people have an expectation that they might have to pay to play mini golf, maybe there's an opportunity there, I don't know. You get an annual pass if you're a Western Chapel resident for free. And if you're not a Western Chapel resident, you have to buy an annual pass to play. Anyway, that's besides the point. We're making great progress. It's looking awesome. So much excitement about us having this new arena at the park. One other ask for council. It's something you've done the past 2 years, and it's with regard to waiving the 3-bid requirement for the landscaping plants. I can go through the motions and get prices from Lowe's and Home Depot. They're going to be 3-4 times the price I get from the same nursery we've used in the past 2 years. So looking for council to waive the 3-bid requirement to purchase the $3,000 worth of plants, which is in this year's budget.
And this is very similar to when we were doing construction on the dam. We were renting a Bobcat about twice a year to do projects, and it was always routinely Sun Valley Rental that was giving us the best price. So instead of having to go through getting 5 bids every time we wanted to rent a Bobcat, we just agreed to waive that rule because we were consistently getting the best price from Sun Valley Rental.
We just did this a couple of months ago, waiving the rule for bids for the turf.
For the turf. No, we got this.
Yeah, we got,
No, there was something else. There was something else that we waived getting the bids on. I can't remember.
Everything over $1,000 I got 3 quotes for. Every single
There was
thing I got
something,
3
the
quotes.
pump,
Sorry?
the pump.
Yeah, because
It was
the
special and,
contractor knows the system and
Right.
the
It's-
controller for it.
yeah, controller for the pump.
he was the guy who
I knew there
installed
was
it, so,
something.
yeah.
But, yeah.
That was for a different reason.
So I'll make a motion that we waive our policy requirement for 3 bids and allow John to go with our historic provider for landscaping plants.
Second,
Any further questions? All in favor?
staying in budget, though, right, John?
Unanimous?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I always think that.
Well, I just want to clarify
To
that.
the
For
penny,
For the
if you
people in the
can.
audience, for the people at council, you're staying in budget.
He will
So
spend every
the last
penny.
update is, as you know, we've not had any rain significant for many, many weeks. The pond at the park is literally empty. It's got so low now that the irrigation pump sucked air and I had to shut it down. So we've got no irrigation at the park right now because the pond is just too low to use the water for irrigation. So it's a real pain to prime that pump. It's a centrifugal pump, it's not positive displacement. So I have reached out to the irrigation contractor who primes it to come out and prime it for me once we have some water in the pond again.
Well, when would we winterize it?
That was going to be my follow-up question. We're in mid-October,
Yeah, close to
Close.
winterization, right?
Not till December, January, like when it gets really cold. And we've just put grass seed down, so I really want to get some water on that grass seed.
is there ability to use between now and the time we have to winterize, to use the municipal water supply instead of the
Well,
pond?
yeah, I could, but it's going to be so expensive.
Well, that versus the cost of the priming and
He probably won't even bill us for the priming. He'll just come out and do it. If it's a little job that takes him 10 minutes, he never bills us.
yeah, that's why we go with it.
We need
He's
to
always,
fix it, he just does it, and we never see a bill.
yeah.
No, I need to get water on the grass. I don't want to use county water. It's a waste of resource on grass. When we
But
already
we need to have a
water.
substantial rain, not the little,
We need a substantial rain to fill the pond up, and then I can start putting water on the grass seed. So that's the last one. And then 8C, I'll sit down and let you guys discuss it because it's the, do we ask
Okay.
legal
So any questions?
representative for help with FEMA or not? That's-
I would like to ask one question before you sit down, please.
Sorry?
I'd like to ask you one more question real quick. Are the dogwoods in jeopardy without the water?
Are the dogwoods?
In jeopardy without,
No,
like,
they've been there a year, so they should have some good rooting. One of them needs replacing, but I'm going to include the replacement tree with a plant order from the same nursery. It's actually, David, it's your tree that's missing. So when I place the order, I'm going to replace that one, get a replacement for that one. But I think they're watered in enough. They've been in there a year, they've still got leaves on them, they all look healthy, so hopefully we get rain in a week or so and it'll start irrigating again. If it goes another 2 weeks without rain, I'll drag the hoses out and I'll water the dogwood area with city water, but not all the grass, just around the dogwood trees.
okay, thank you.
I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank John and Deb for those who weren't here this weekend. We planted a tree in front of the town hall in recognition of Arbor Day.
You're stealing Deb's thunder.
I don't know.
No, I just want to say thank you to Deb and John for digging the hole and Deb for getting the tree and organizing all of it.
Thank you. I think you dug the hole with your muscles, didn't you? You didn't use a machine. That was a deep hole.
It's not like it's 300 holes.
All right, any further questions for John? All right, so the next item is C, discussion of representative requests. All right, Mike, you and Deb wanted to put this on the agenda, so.
Yeah, I just think, again, our state representative is there to represent us. And that if we have the ability to kind of push along the grant, I think we're all kind of frustrated by the delays or the kicking the can down the road with the grant money. If it's going to save the taxpayers of Wesley Chapel money, I think we should do everything within our powers to use every tool to get that, to make every effort. Let's put it that way.
I agree. I'd like to make a motion, if I may. Make a motion that council contact Congressman Harris' office and request a letter of recommendation in support of the village's FEMA grant application.
Second.
All right, now time for discussion. I know Lori had a comment about there being two requests. One to request,
To go directly to FEMA for an update on status.
Yeah, but that's, to me, that's a whole different.
That was what Jonathan asked for. And that was what I asked at the beginning when we put it on the agenda. Would we talk about one or the other or both? And the answer was both.
Right. Okay. Should we deal with one first before we get into both?
Yeah, she asked. It's her meeting.
All right, so we have restate the motion again so I can make sure I'm clear.
That's second one.
Deb had it.
That we contact Congressman Harris's office and request a letter of recommendation in support of the village's FEMA grant application.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. I'm going to vote opposed again. Now we want to talk, so the motion fails. Do we want to talk about the second conversation that Jonathan asked for?
Well, I think the more times we ask and knock on the door or send an email or make a phone call to FEMA about this grant money, more opportunities we have to save the taxpayers money.
Okay, so Jonathan's request was what, Lori, to
contact FEMA for an update so we have a better idea of when we can expect something, some action
Exactly.
on the status of us pursuing this grant.
Does that technically need a motion, or can we just say,
No, and I have spoken with FEMA. I spoke with them in May, and I've talked with Amy Black several times. And the last time I talked with Amy, I think I read it to y'all at the last meeting. The day after our last meeting, or the day after our last meeting, she had talked to Dam Safety, and the reply that she got was all items had been submitted and all projects were still being reviewed by FEMA, that the state staff didn't have any control over the schedule and they're just waiting to get something back from FEMA. She doesn't think calling or writing the state staff would be beneficial. She doesn't know if reaching out to congressional representatives would be beneficial. The way federal funding programs are under attack, she's a bit worried that all of the projects are at risk of not receiving funding. So,
And this was dated when?
this was 9/9. There's really no official update except that we are waiting on a response from FEMA.
and they haven't given us any kind of a deadline or any inclination when they're going to make a decision one way or the other?
Does she typically go back and ask, after some period of time, ask FEMA for statuses, or?
I can certainly ask her to ask again.
I mean, I understand her point that the state and others probably have no sway, but, yeah.
Is FEMA working? Right now?
Probably not,
Probably not, yeah.
so.
To ask during the shutdown, I think would be a little premature, but hopefully this won't go on very much longer. We're still here, we're still working.
That's because we're local employees.
Sure, you can ask.
All right, I'd like to find out why you guys are against contacting Congressman Harris and asking for additional support of, I mean, it's.
My
it's a
position has
no-brainer.
not changed from last month.
I'm sorry?
My position has not changed from last month.
Did you refresh
Same,
my memory?
you can read it in the minutes. It's the same situation as before, that I do not feel like it's appropriate that he could use his powers to get help for Western North Carolina.
That's what
That's
they do.
essentially-
That's what
but-
congressmen do.
That is my position.
Okay. Baby?
I completely agree with Lori.
So do you think it's inappropriate for us to reach out to a congressman asking for him to support us getting money to fix the dam? I mean, yeah, that's right.
And I think to Amy Black's point, to add to my last month's comments, per Amy Black's comment, in her experience, it's probably not going to do any good anyway.
She said it wouldn't. She said she didn't know.
I know she said she doubted it would help.
Did she say, Amanda?
It really doesn't matter. We voted and
I know, I'm just curious because it just baffles me that you guys are against asking for help from a congressman. That's his job, and I just don't understand the negative. I don't understand it. Amanda?
Oh, David wasn't done talking.
But, I mean, I agree with what Lori said. And my position is, Deb, that if there's families still without housing in western North Carolina, then all resources need to be applied to that. I mean, this is a pond and an area that is very, very wealthy. I don't think this is the right time to make that request.
Well, this stuff in Western North Carolina's been going for years. We can't wait until that's taken care of to take care of our homelands, you know.
But we're not waiting, in my opinion. We're putting money in savings every year. And if council does feel strongly that we can't wait anymore, then next budget year, taxes should be increased and the dam should be fixed. We have the power.
Right, right.
We just didn't want to raise taxes that much.
And if in fact there's a difference between disaster funding and disaster relief, then I would be open to hearing those differences. But based on the little bit of research that I've done tonight, there's not a difference.
Did everybody receive the email that came in about 10:30 this morning, specifically from the state, talking about the grant information?
Nope.
It just came in earlier today. So
I didn't get any email from the state today.
Amanda, why are you opposed to reaching out to the congressman for support?
For exactly the same reasons.
You think all money should go to the families and not?
I think, like David said, we are a very wealthy area. And that right now there's a lot going on. The government's shut down. County can't even pay teachers what they're supposed to be paying them. And we are saying, please help us repair our dam. When we have how much money in the fund balance that's unassigned? $500,000?
Then why are we going ahead and doing it now?
Because council didn't want to raise taxes the rest of the way. We put $250,000, I think, in the 150 or 250,000 in savings. The state said we did not have to replace it right away. So if there are other things that council would like to look into, potentially, I know John at one point had mentioned putting a bridge over it so people could continue to walk. Like, there may be other options, but I don't feel that right now is the time to be putting our hands out for money.
we tried that.
Thank you for your answers. To what?
I said we tried.
All right, so that leads us to the Events and Programs Committee report. Joel, I'm going to start with a general update.
Yes, let's see here. All right. Good evening, council, staff, and fellow citizens. First, I'd like to thank all the candidates. Our last event was the September 30th Candidate Forum. I want to thank you all for attending that, including Mr. Aliff. We had about 20 people or so that attended in person, and at my last look online for the live stream that we did and the people that watched it after that, we had about 60 people that watched that live and after that. I also had comments to me personally at Harris Teeter and whatnot of people that were thankful that we did that to inform them as well. And hopefully that will garner some more views as we get closer to election day. But I also hope that this can be a thing that happens every 2 years, because obviously local races like this one don't get a lot of media attention. And just to inform the residents of the village, I hope that can be done every 2 years. Obviously that's going to be the committee's decision, possibly passing, we'll see. Our next event is the December 20th Santa's in the Village in Wesley Chapel. We've been collaborating with Sunny Day Markets, and they were at our last meeting, and things are going well with them, and they have garnered interest from sponsors and vendors and started booking those immediately. And we will have Santa along with a Christmas train that is also booked as well. Our next community conversations is Mr. Bedford from the
Could we
North Carolina.
stop for a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
Why have we changed the name of Cocoa and Carols to Santa in the Village?
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yes. So when Sunny Day Markets attended our committee meeting last month, they informed us that they had reached out to schools and Facebook groups across the area, and they could not get any carolers. And so if you guys have any connections with that, then they are welcoming those. But they said that and I did see the post on social media request for this, and they said they contacted schools and they were not able to get any.
Could it be because the date of December 20th is so close to Christmas, school's out, and therefore it's more difficult for them?
That could be possible, yes.
I just object to changing the name. It's a historical event, Coco's and Carols, that we have done for I don't know how many years.
Every
I
year
just-
we've got the park open.
And I also think December 20th is really too late to hold a Christmas event, but
I agree with the name change. I'm kind of offended that they did it without even asking.
Okay.
We chose Coco's and Carols for a reason. We did
Yeah.
not want to have Santa in the title. We wanted it to be a more welcoming for anyone event. You don't have to have somebody to sing to play a carol. You can plus pray on the radio. So
Yeah,
I'm
license.
I can make sure they
I'm
have-
honestly very irritated that they are approaching this partnership by going ahead and changing a name without talking to anyone, even you. It's disrespectful.
I think they did mention it to us, and I'm trying to recall exactly how the committee felt to it. They did discuss that they didn't want to market it incorrectly when it comes to, obviously, previously we had people in person caroling. And so that's what their concern was. But obviously, I will let them know, and obviously we ultimately have the authority over this, and they have not marketed this out to anyone other than the vendors that would be coming to this. So they haven't posted this on social media. Yes, please.
I think what the council is basically saying is, as a reminder, you make recommendations, council makes decisions.
No, I understand.
So if you make those type of changes without letting us know,
Okay.
it's going to ruffle some feathers.
No, I understand. And I will make sure that not only the committee knows that, but also Sunny Day Markets, and I will send them an email promptly, possibly after I sit down with this again.
But previously, we've held the event more like the first weekend in December, and we've had individuals sometimes, even if it's not a group. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been a historical problem getting carolers, and I would question why it's being pushed to the weekend before Christmas when you'd expect some people probably are starting their travel and would impact availability for people or attendance.
Who picked that date?
I believe it was, if I recall correctly, and Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that was possibly requested, because we were initially requesting the 13th of December, and they said, Sunny Day Market specifically said that they could not do that date. And I believe when the committee initially proposed this event, that was going to be the 13th, and then a possible backup date of the 20th, if I remember correctly. And since Sunny Day Markets could not do the 13th, it automatically defaulted to the 20th. Does that sound correct, Amy? Okay, so that's why that date specifically was picked.
Just a general thing, as a young man, you'll learn the slogan, don't let the tail wag the dog.
Yes.
Don't let somebody be on marketing tell you when you're going to have your event.
Okay, I can make sure that I ask the council in the future about those specific dates. I know that the council, when we did come to the council and requested you guys to approve the events and the days, that was approved by the council, so.
Let me ask this more general
Yes.
question. Do you think, to Lori's point, do you think it's too late to change the date, or is it something that we can work around and still have it on the 20th, based on what's already been organized, so that we address her issue, but at the same time, still have the event and make it a success?
I would have to reach out to Sunny Day Markets. I don't know how that would work or anything like that.
No,
I
I'm
can-
saying is keep it on the 20th, but see what we can do to make sure that we have carolers, make sure.
Oh,
we
yeah,
have
absolutely.
all the things where the residents are normally expecting to see at a Christmas event.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we can reach out and see what the committee members specifically, if they have any resources, because they didn't really discuss anything. I know Erin LaCroix was not at our last meeting, and so I didn't specifically reach out to her to see if she had anything, but I can definitely see what I can find and reach
We
out to
can
her.
make it work, we just got to tweak it a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, for sure, absolutely.
And my apologies for not attending the last meeting.
Oh, you're good.
I heard that 485 has a Christmas set.
I did not know that. Now we know.
Joe, do you know if December 6th was looked into, was considered the first Saturday of the month?
I don't recall initially when we discussed the event days. Probably, I don't know why that wasn't specifically selected as a initial date or a rain date or anything like that.
There was a conflict or something.
Yeah, there had to be some type of conflict if I had to give it yes, but I don't recall exactly why. Probably with some other local event or church that was doing an event similar or close to it. So our next community conversations is with Mr. Medford from the NC Wildlife, and he will be here on October 21st. That is modified from our normal first Wednesday of the month, as he has a very strict schedule of when he can be here. I was informed by Ms. Bledsoe, and so that was modified to the 21st for that, and that will be at 6:30, I believe, as well, and that will be here at Village Hall.
Did they supply the banner for the?
Yes, they did supply that banner
That
that is out
banner looks
at
really nice.
84 and Waxhaw Trail, yes. And then our next one, since we won't have a council meeting before then, our next one following that is November 1st, so still scheduled for our normal first Wednesday of the month, with Miss Jody from Guardian Ad Litem, and she will be discussing their programs and how you can support the children that are in difficult situations within the county, and especially the court system, and the different difficult situations that they have been faced with and whatnot.
That will also be here?
That will also be here at 6:30 as we have normally scheduled. And then,
That's 7 o'clock, actually.
that's 7 o'clock? Okay, that's 7 o'clock. The committee also is requesting that contingent on them pulling off a successful Christmas Day event, we were looking to request that the council preliminarily, contingent on the event, allow Sunny Day Markets to ask for see if there's any interest in 2 events for next year, which would be a Easter event on March 28th is the proposed date, and then a car show and a celebration of the 250th birthday of our country on either May 30th or June 6th. And we want to see what the council's thoughts were on that, and if they would be willing to make that contingent on a successful Christmas event.
What are your metrics to determine if the Coco and Carol's event is successful?
I think the committee, when we discussed it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, it was about 500 people or more. I know that that's what Sunny Day Markets had previously discussed, as they would like to see at a minimum marker. And obviously for the car show, if I recall correctly, we were just over 500 people for that. So I think that's definitely attainable. And I think that with the social media presence that they have, I believe that we could definitely achieve over 500 for sure.
So only one KPI for the event.
Can you
Key performance indicator, only one key performance indicator, 500 attendees.
That's what has been previously discussed. If the council obviously would like to add any other performance indicators, then that's obviously up to the council.
Just wanted to know what the committee would be considering when they came to council to then ask us for those future collaborations. Data speaks, opinions aren't as good.
No, I understand. And I'll make sure to mention that to the committee for the future, obviously. We're not necessarily sure how this exactly will look. And I guess, obviously, as I'm learning as a chairman of this, what specific metrics would you like to see other than attendees?
Well, if there's anything related to costs that the village is fronting,
Yes.
understanding what they are up front and that those don't get exceeded, that
Of
there's
course.
no surprises,
Yes.
that the event goes along with the specifications as supplied by the committee.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a list of requirements of what you're expecting to happen at that event, and that's what they meet
Yes.
and provide.
Of course.
And that there is an actual count, not just some broad estimation of attendees. So
course.
that it's can do in that, and that also can just considering the appropriateness of the various activities. I know in the past we've had some activities maybe less popular or more popular,
Okay.
because that can help inform the committee's decisions in the future.
Yes, absolutely. And I know we did it for example, at the car show, have a clicker. I believe I sent that to you in an email of exactly how many attendees we clicked. I just don't
Yeah.
recall that, but
That
would be,
concept, yeah.
yes, yes.
Also, as a reminder, partnering with Sunny Day Marketing, I think we figured out that the cost per event was actually going to go down.
Significantly, yes.
So there'll be a cost savings.
Right, but
The
we
only-
still have to pay porta potties and deputies.
The deputies, they are actually, I believe they're handling that. We're not going to need porta potties when it's here specifically, as they will be able to use the bathrooms here. The only thing that they did request us pay for was and I'll pull this up real quick here, is the payment for the train, the Christmas train. They did request us to pay for that, and let's see if I can find that email here.
While you're looking, I'll remind the council that in the past, we were paying for like some vendors to show up, whether it's food trucks or pizza, things like that. In this case, they're actually going to be charging the vendors to be there, and instead of us paying them to be there. So it's kind of,
Right. But it's only this year that we've paid vendors to be at events. And prior to that, they came of their own volition. Is this the same train company we've used historically?
I believe so. I'm trying to remember exactly if... No, it wasn't? Okay.
I thought it was.
I thought it was, but I could be wrong.
They were booked.
Okay, that's what it was. Got it.
Okay.
Because we still have a credit with that company, don't we, Amy?
Yes, we could take it, they went and booked us for December 13th without talking, just kind of did as a courtesy.
The train company.
Yes.
The
So
Polar
they booked
Express.
on the 20th, but they will extend the credit to next year or any other, it does not have to be anytime during the
I don't recall us. When did we pay them in advance?
Last year, the event was canceled due to.
Oh, last year's event. I thought you.
Yeah.
Joel, I have a question. So it says future event collaboration with Sunny Day Market's potential motion.
Yes,
I
correct.
thought we were doing the December event to see how things go with them before moving forward.
Correct. So Sunny Day Markets was requesting more time to facilitate a future events, and so they were requesting us to recommend to you, which the committee did, contingent on the successfulness of the Christmas event, to allow them to see if vendors would be available and would want to be here for an Easter event on March 28th and a car show / 250th Birthday of America event on May 30th and June 6th, or June 6th.
Joe, before we move on,
Yes.
I'd like to go back and readdress, a lot of towns have little caps, or they'll have things with the town's name on them, and little gifts to give, and things like that. And do you think that you could bring to your committee and ask if they would, since you had, like, the Fall Bash was canceled, right?
Yes, that fall bash was canceled. Yes,
Okay.
as discussed
Is it
last-
possibly we could go in together, because we've got a little bit of money set aside for buying, little things of the town, but maybe possibly that we could take some of that money and to help us, like, for example, the speaker on the Coyotes, it'd be nice to be able to give him like a little thank you for speaking, and all speakers that come. That could be, pens, coffee mugs, whatever, just as a thank you thing, so,
Absolutely. I can reach out to the committee and note that down
okay.
to reach out to them and
Yeah, if we could get $1,000.
let them know at the next
guys,
meeting,
we'd
for
be
sure.
doing good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so council, you've heard Joel's request from Sunny Day Markets.
I think it's premature to move forward with the future events collaboration until after the first event with them. But I don't see any negatives. I think they're going to be a good company to work for, or work with, I should say. But again, don't let the tail wag the dog.
Yes.
With them. So.
I agree with Mike. My memory of the discussions was that we would use this as a trial run
Yes.
and see how they performed.
Okay.
I would recommend deferring any future collaborations until we see how this event goes.
Got it. All righty. Sounds like consensus, I presume.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that we have for you is the social media mission statement and policy. Last meeting, you guys were kind of questioning where to put this social media policy that we had pre-written beforehand and that you all liked. And so the committee, you asked us to look into our charter and see where to place that. And I believe the charter is in your packet. And the proposal that the committee is suggesting that you all put the mission statement into is, if you go to, I believe it's the second to last page of the charter, there's two sections of stipends, which are obviously not getting paid anything, which is fine, and then the budget and events. We are requesting or suggesting, rather, that you put the social media mission statement entitled social media and right in between there. That's our suggestion to the council.
I have no issues with that. Do you share the social media statement with the marketing company as well?
Yes.
Thank you. It's great that we have it, but if they don't follow what we
Yes.
have, that's,
Yes.
okay.
Obviously, they can do what they want to do, obviously, on their personal pages, because we obviously don't touch those.
Council have any objections with placing the social media statement there?
No.
I don't think we need a motion for that, that's just housekeeping. And did we skip over the weather? I thought we already discussed.
Yes,
it.
the weather, I have that right next. Sorry, I
Um,
have what
hold
I
on a
wrote
second.
down is here. The-
I would like there to be a motion so it can be clear exactly where we want it
Absolutely.
to be.
Sounds like a plan.
I'll make a motion.
What do we-
What he said.
Make a motion to put it where, Joel, so we can be very clear.
Yeah, to put it, the social media policy and mission statement in between the section of stipends and budget and events in the committee's charter.
Second.
Any further discussion? The point of that is so it is very clearly written into the
Absolutely.
minutes. And again, I'm running the meeting, not you. All right. All in favor? All right, Joe?
All right, and then the inclement weather policy, we realized that when we submitted the weather policy to you all last meeting, that there were some formatting errors when we were providing you it. So that is in your packet. I need to probably quickly pull that up here. But, let's see here. That is the updated one that we have for you there.
Would you like to read it?
Sure, absolutely.
So the people in the audience?
Yeah, so it states that what the cancellation criteria is, and that if it's a daytime or evening event, that events will be canceled if there's a 40% or higher chance of precipitation forecasted 4 hours prior to the scheduled start time. The decision will be made by the community and be communicated no later than 4 hours before the event start time. And then for morning events, those will be canceled if there is significant chance of rain, 60% or higher of precipitation, forecasted the evening before. And then the decision will be made by 8 p.m. the night before and communicated to all stakeholders. And then when an event is canceled due to weather, the cancellation notice will be posted on all relevant social media platforms, and the committee members will be notified via the designated communication channels, primarily email. And then for rescheduling, the events committee will meet within 30 days of cancellation to determine if a new date is feasible, and alternate indoor venues will be considered when possible, and if a new date is established, it will be communicated within 30 days of cancellation. When possible, we will consider establishing a rain date for outdoor events prior to the event. And then monitoring responsibility, the committee chair or designated weather monitor will track all weather forecasts. The official weather data will be sourced from reputable sources, and the final authority rests on the chair of the committee. The only exceptions that we have for this policy are for, as determined by the committee leadership, and for non-Wesley Chapel event coordinators. As we previously discussed, Sunny Day Markets, for example, already has their weather policy, and they work collaboratively with their vendors and whatnot, and have a similar policy to us, if we were to adopt it.
Is it different, is their policy the same criteria as ours, or is there going to be a problem with that?
I believe they are possibly slightly different. If I had to give a guess, they were not consulted when we first drafted this policy, nor have they been consulted on this since then.
But they'll work collaboratively with their partner.
Yes, correct, absolutely, yes.
Under item 3, rescheduling procedure, I
Yes.
would suggest moving the 4th bullet. When possible, committee will consider establishing a rain date for outdoor events prior to the event as the first bullet point, because otherwise it looks like nobody will get past that first bullet point. Says, oh, we'll just meet in 30 days and whatever. And 30 days is a very long time when the committee only meets once a month, and then we have events that have to be planned so far out. That just seems like if we can establish bullet number 4 to at least consider that when doing the original planning, that may be a little more successful actually getting an event in if it rains.
That is the committee's intention, but if you would like us to move that from the bottom of that to the top of that, absolutely, we can definitely do that for you.
All right, any further questions from Joel, for Joel?
And then the plan is then for this to go back to the committee, get approved by the committee again, and then come back up to you, correct?
No,
No.
No,
No.
you can just say that we approve it.
Okay, that's fine.
The motion could be to approve it as amended with that one line, and then,
And just inform the committee.
yes.
Got
All right,
I'll
so, is
motion to approve as amended.
there a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank
it.
you.
Alrighty, and the last thing is that our next committee meeting is the 23rd, so if you want to come, join us. Anything else?
Yeah, how are we advertising other than the banner out on the corner or the Coyote event?
Well, we'll be using our social media platforms as just adopted by this council. But I mean, other than that, we as the committee, I don't think can really do too much. Obviously, sending it on our email list and things like that is another way, of course. But other than that,
I think they're also advertising it on their end.
yeah, likely.
Okay.
We had, as of last week, there were 17 people registered.
On Facebook, probably. Right?
That turnout's been pretty
Through
good.
their own website. They
Oh.
get them registered through them.
That even requires more effort than just sitting and putting it on Facebook.
So, because, just pre-registered, there was 17. They say it is a highly regarded topic, always very popular. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Any further questions for Joel before we let him go sit down? Thank you, Joel.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, so that turns to the planning department. Council, I will remind you that this is just setting a public hearing, that we will not be talking about this because this will be a quasi judicial decision. So, Emily, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff is requesting that the village council set a date for a quasi-judicial public hearing for the request of subdivision modifications. The proposed date will be the next meeting, which is November 10th. The request is from developers of the parcel located at 917 Waxhaw Indian Trail Road. They've applied for a modification of the subdivision ordinance requirements of section 155.083. The reference section of the ordinance states that a permanent dead-end street shall not exceed 600 feet in length unless a modification is granted by the village council. The applicants have submitted a proposed sketch plan for a major subdivision of the approximately 60.322 acres that would divide the property into 39 lots. The planning board reviewed the modification request at their September meeting, and after discussion with the developer and the property owners from the neighboring subdivision, the planning board recommended in favor of the request. As the mayor stated, tonight what is in front of you is to set a date for quasi-judicial public hearing. With that, we would send out notifications to all the adjacent property owners. We would post a notification on the property, and we would put 2 notifications in the paper notifying the public about the quasi-judicial public hearing.
So council, I need a motion to call for the public hearing at our next regularly scheduled council meeting, which is November 10th at 7 p.m.
So motion.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Question for George on this. If I live geographically close to this, will I have to recuse myself?
No.
Okay, thank you.
If you're in the subdivision, yes, but geographic proximity doesn't count for that.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Any questions for Emily before we move forward? We will be talking about residential development next. All right. Emily, do we have any updates about, I know we have McCoy Farms, Aurora.
That's what we have, Troy Farms is coming up, they're working on their final plats. The subdivision we just discussed, Horn subdivision, they're in sketch plan phase. Quintessa is working on phase 3, they're in their preliminary plat. We have Aurora is also working on their preliminary plat. There's a lot of subdivisions that are working on a lot of plans. We're just working through those before we bring those to planning board and to y'all.
And McCoy Farms will continue to be a conservation subdivision?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they're not, it's just going through the final plat process.
All right. And then commercial center update. I don't know if you have anything to share. Other than what we did previously with the stormwater detention. There is a road out there now.
There's a
Very
parking lot now.
interesting.
I'll say it would be parking lot.
Paved parking lot, woo.
And then for NCDOT projects, as you know, we did have a roundabout complete after many, many years, and it is nice, and that's all I'll say. We also have, I do not have it for you, George, and I had some comments for NCDOT, so at the next meeting, we will be bringing to you the agreement with NCDOT for the intersection improvements at NC 84 and Potter Wesley Chapel Roads. It does seem like they're asking for maybe a little bit less than before, Ron said, for $413,000.
Yeah, my question, my thing was, they also said, yeah, it looks like it's going to come under the estimate a little bit, but then it says there's still 3 properties in condemnation, and they could take years.
Oh, that is,
So I'm like, does that mean we'd actually even get any money back?
that is Potter and Potter.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
it mixed
yeah.
up.
So this is Potter and 84. So they're asking for less of our contribution than they did before. Us, the county and NCDOT are
Yeah.
going in on that one. Regarding the roundabout that just finished, they do estimate that they are coming in under budget. But there are 3 parties in condemnation, and that could take years to resolve. So I guess we'll know if we owe more money there or not. But it was interesting that they were coming in under budget after.
Yeah,
we
I thought it was
settled
interesting
on
they still have properties in condemnation, and it can take years to settle after they finish the roundabout.
So any questions about infrastructure?
Do we have an update on the closure on Newtown Road? Is that still scheduled for the 18th, or are they going to kick the can down the road even further?
Emily, do you have any
I
updates?
haven't heard any new dates.
Okay. People were asking me about that this last couple of weeks. I said, I don't have any control of DOT.
All right, so that leads us to mayor and council comments. Who would like to go first? Okay.
I would like to thank the people that showed up Saturday for our very first Arbor Day celebration. And in honor of that, we planted our state tree, the lolly pine, and I appreciate the mussels that were there, and John's help. All the way through the process was very helpful in identifying a nursery that could have that, et cetera. So thank you very much. And those who showed up and helped out, thank you.
Is that it? All right, next.
I'll go. I failed to get it on the agenda in time, but I wanted, we've done it the last few years, so I guess I just thought it would happen. And it was a proclamation regarding and recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day, which is today. So that's it.
All right, David?
No comments.
Mike?
No comments.
All right, I do want to thank Deb also for the idea for the Arbor Day, and hopefully that'll just be something that grows, continues to grow as we age as a village. I would also like to thank Amy for her hard work on National Night Out. It was last Tuesday. I think it was very successful. It was well attended. There was a School of Rock. There were many Aston vendors, including Aston themselves. Harris Teeter was an amazing partner as always, even if I didn't get a hot dog. But it was a really nice night. So thank you to Amy and thank you to everybody who was there helping set up. And that's it. So I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.